Hi, it's Bree Scott, and you're watching Woman on the Rise. So, today I want to talk about community. A week ago, I posted on my Instagram, but I didn't make a vlog about it. I posted this 30-day challenge that I want to do with you guys, and I want to explain a little further why it's important to me. So, with the 30-day challenge, I challenged people on my Instagram to take one day for 30 days to figure out ways that they can give back to their community. They say it takes 21 days to break a habit. I want to create a habit, and I want to go further than 21 days, because if we can go more than 21 days, then maybe we can go a lifetime of giving back to our community. And what sparked that is because since George Floyd died, there has been a lot more conversation. Actually, there's always been conversations, but it just seems like it seems like it's a lot more, because now a lot more people are speaking up and saying things. And I'm noticing people that I don't see in the communities helping out, volunteering, give back, have so much opinion about what's going on in the community and about how Black people are. And I personally feel like if you're not in the community, if you're not personally getting to know people, you don't have a right to speak on it, because you're sitting in the comforts of your house, in your home, giving opinion about others in their lives. And we sometimes tend to say things based off of our own perception of what's going on in our world. And if you're not experiencing that, you won't know that it's going on. And it's shocking to me that a lot of Black people have that to say, but then it's not shocking because some people can't grasp past their comfort zone. And a lot of people, Black people and white people, if you're in this comfortable state, you're comfortable and you don't want to shake that comfortableness. And so you tend to ignore and put off what's really going on. And you think it's just like, even when I was a kid, I didn't really I didn't know that I was experiencing it. I didn't experience like dead face to face racism. I dealt with like subliminal racism that I didn't recognize. And when I even say that, I didn't deal with racism where a teacher was outright mean to me. In fifth grade, I did, but I didn't realize it was racism until I got older. I was at a predominantly white school, and when I used to get excited about the snacks, she was like, "Do you get treats at home?" And I was thinking, and it always bugged me because I was like, why would she ask that when all the other kids was equally as excited as I was? My mom fed me, I got treats. I mean, I was confused by that statement, but now that I'm older, I get it. I was at a predominantly white school, and I don't know. I've always been different. I've always been a little weirdo, so maybe I was too excited for her. I don't know. I love fucking brownies. I don't know what to say. Anyways, but growing up as a kid, I used to always hear my mom and my aunt be like, "Oh, that's racist," and I didn't experience it, so I'm like, "What are you talking about? It's not the 1960s anymore. What are you talking about?" But as I got older and I started to experience that microaggression, and I started to experience seeing white people get treated differently than me, then I was like, "Oh, okay, I get it now. I get it." But until I experienced it, I dismissed it. And that's what people are doing. You're not getting out in your communities. You're making, and it's so funny. Not funny, but funny. It's funny that the main people who has this perception about what's going on in the community are the same people who are screaming fake news. But how else are you getting your information? You're getting your information off of what's going on in the news and what's going on social media and what's going on what you watch on TV. Media, I will say, media does play a large part in the perceptions of what we think about things. And I'm not saying take media away, because media is entertaining. Media helps us through tough, difficult times. Like throughout this whole ordeal, well, when George was like our final straw, he was the camel that broke the stick that broke the camel's back. I was for a moment depressed. I was for a moment hopeless and tired. And I had to really, really pray hard and pull on my faith to see me through it. But I also was able to turn on social media and see all my black community come together. Like we can't take shit seriously. Like there's so many funny things going on to help. We've come to make ourselves laugh, to keep from crying and losing hope. So it was because of social media, I was able to see that and have feel a community outside of my community, if that makes sense. So media does play a part in what we view for Black people. It does play a part. But this is why I say you need to get off the media and get in to real world, because media is there to tell you what they want us to think, and it's no, just period, what they want us to think. Social media, even still, you can't post some stuff on social media because they don't want you to know certain things. So it's important for you to get out in the community. And if you're not in the community, you're not learning. So it is time to make yourselves get out in the community. So I want to challenge you for 30 days to make a plan, because you have all these bright ideas about what should go on in communities. Why don't you write them down and get out in the community and go see how your ideas work? So that's my challenge for you. One of the other things I want to talk about is Black on Black crime. I'm so tired of hearing folks talk about Black on Black crime. It is time to start unlearning what we've been taught. And I feel like Black on Black crime was created to keep Black people criminalized. If you think we're killing ourselves, you're not going to care when we're dying right in front of your eyes. I have been really trying to educate myself more and more as I get older, because once I see something, I can't ignore it. I need to figure out how I can play a part in making it better. So when we talk about Black on Black crime, I was looking up statistics like, why do they even say Black on Black crime? The Black on Black crime, does Black people really kill each other that much? And when I looked up the statistics, I was only able to find 2018 and 2016 statistics. I couldn't find anything else. So if you know where I could find it, please let me know, because I want to know, I want to learn. I'll share with you what I found. You share with me what you know and what you found. But white people kill themselves just as much as Black people, yet we're not running around talking about white on white crime. So let's just get rid of Black on Black crime. It's just crime. Black people commit crime, white people commit crime, but that does not mean that a whole race of Black people are criminals or a whole race of white people are criminals. It's just crime. Nobody agrees with it. Everybody wants to do something about it. There are some people in our communities that trying to create ways to eliminate Black on Black crime. Not Black on Black crime, but crime, period, in our communities. We are not okay with our people dying. We're not okay with police killing our people. And we're also not okay with each other killing each other. And I feel like for the community, for us Black communities, we feel a little bit more hurt when our people kill each other, because there's already so many people against us. And we want to love on ourselves more. But where there's a disconnect is because everything can be traced back to racism and Jim Crow laws and this systematic justice system, where it starts from prison to pipeline in school. I mean, I watched as they criminalized our little boys in elementary school, and those records follow them to middle school and then to high school, and then that affects their college, getting into college. And They say that there's not a lot of coverage on the playground to stop the boys from fighting, but then the boys are reprimanded, suspended for fighting. And if you don't have a support system and a support team to fight for you and advocate for you, you can get lost in the system. And that creates the prison of pipeline, because now kids start to lose hope. And if they can't come to school to catch a break, if they can't come to school to learn, if they can't come to school, they go to the streets. So it is a whole fucked up system and mind thought that we need to recreate. So with this challenge for the next 30 days, I also want us to start educating ourselves and learn some things. When we talk about defunding police, it's not to take away the police department. It is to say we have been pouring money into the police department, but not enough funding in the schools to create more outlets for children. So where we put more money into the schools in the community, we create places for kids to go after school. We create more people in the school that can de-escalate situations between the young boys or the young girls or whoever's fighting. Majority young boys. They can be out on the playground. We have funding to have people out on the playground. We have funding to be in the school for mental health. We have funding for teachers to have teachers assistants, because teachers are overwhelmed. And if you're not careful, your kid can get lost in that. There's so many different dynamics that we can touch on that is why kids are being lost in the streets and then grow up to become criminal and then end up being in the hands of police to either die or to be in the jail cell. We already know that Black and brown families are targeted more than any other families. And the reason why I think it's important for us to get back in the community is because this is where it starts. It starts in our community. And it starts while they're in school, elementary, and it follows them. I'm not saying just give money. I'm saying give yourselves. Sacrifice your time. A lot of the times, parents of color, it's no secret. I don't have any facts. This show isn't about me facting anything. This show is about my personal experience. And it all can be traced back to how we've treated Black Americans since slavery, how we've treated them after slavery, how every time we try to build, white America tears us down. We as a race, American race, Black and white, are dealing with a mental health that was passed down for generations. So where the Black people are dealing with mental health from slavery, white people are dealing with mental health from how their families have taught them to view Black people. This is mental health. And when I say this is mental health, it's because you're being taught for generations to treat a generation a certain way. So that's how you treat them. And for the Black Americans, you've been taught for generations to feel this way about yourselves. This stuff, this trauma has happened to you, and you've passed it on to your families. This anger, this rage, this frustration, this hurt, you've passed it down from generations to generations. And it's time to undo and unlearn from both sides. And this is why I say, while we're taking 30 days to figure out a system in place to give back to our communities, we're also taking time to unlearn what we've been taught. There has been a blessing and a curse with this whole situation with the pandemic and George Floyd. The curse is we lost someone. We lost a few people. The curse is we have a pandemic. We haven't been able to live life how we want to, and some people may not even be able to recover from this because the mental health of the whole pandemic has screwed them up so bad. But the blessing is that we've been forced to sit and process and think and look at something that is happening in our country, and we got to fix it. I don't want to focus in on, and this is another thing, don't go focusing on changing the whole world, because when you focus on changing the whole world, you start to lose hope, you start to get overwhelmed, and then you don't do anything. Focus on your community. If everybody focuses on their community, then we're changing one community at a time. And even when you talk about changing your community, we can't change everyone. Everyone has their own thought process. Even me, for in the beginning, when this happened with George, I was livid because I'm like, this is another person. This is another person. And the fact to see this man, I couldn't watch the video, but when I seen the man and how he was on his neck and how he had his hand in his pocket, he didn't care. He knew he would get away with it. I was livid. So I was posting. And I was just like trying to make people understand, try to make people see, try to make them get it. And then I realized they get it. They just don't care. As I have been educating myself before this happened, but just like even more, and been watching videos and movies and stand-up comedy for years, Black people have been talking about it for years. Richard Pryor back in the 70s was talking about it. Dave Chappelle talked about it. Kevin Hart talked about it. There's been movies about it. Dangerous Minds, Freedom Riders, 13. There's been so many movies that tell people about it and tell you about it, but you don't care. So I'm no longer trying to convince people. What I'm trying to do is do what I can with my community and reach out to others and see if they can do for their communities. And if we can do for our communities, we will start making a change. Black on Black crime, that saying was created to criminalize Black people. And I'm going to keep saying it as much as I can remember to say it. It was created to criminalize Black people. This is my thought. This is nothing I read. It has been created to criminalize Black people. So when you see us being treated a certain way, you don't care because all you keep thinking is you don't care about your people, so why should we? But I'm here to tell you we do care about our people, and we are trying our hardest to care about our people. But with our people, every time we try to build up, we get torn down. Redlining is still going on. Prisoner pipeline is going on. There's so much going on in our communities that stops some people from being able to progress. And just because you were able to progress doesn't mean someone else will be able to, because everyone deals with trauma in the way that they can, and not everybody can just snap out of it like you can. I see a lot of Black people who have money and are quiet and are comfortable in their state that they're not even thinking about other Black people. And it's one thing that we need to understand. What happens to one Black person happens to all, because at any given time, it can happen to you or your family. We may not be blood related. We may not know each other, but we are related. We didn't create that for us. The world created it for us, unfortunately. And not unfortunately, but we are our brothers and sisters' keeper. This is why it's important to buy Black. I know we had this conversation plenty of times where people were like, why do I gotta buy black just because I'm black? And it's not just because you're black, it's you creating a space and giving it to another black person is creating a space for another black person. It's creating a space for black people. We once had Black Wall Street that was bombed. We can have that again, but we gotta give to each other. We gotta, the way Black Wall Street was is we were buying from each other and we was building each other up. We was building our community. And with building our community, you're seeing a community of black people making it. Our children are seeing a community of black people that are making it. And it's creating hope. It's creating a whole new generation of wealth. So that's why it's important to buy black. I hope that makes sense, and I hope that you get why it's important to buy black. I'm not saying you gotta buy only black. You do what you want. Do what you want. I'm just saying this is why it's important to buy black. Buying black does not mean cheaper. Buying black may mean being more expensive because, again, black people don't have connections how the white people have. White people can go straight into a business with somebody and get some kind of connection just because of their skin color. White people also know other rich white people, so they can cut deals to say, if you sell me this for this, I'll give you this, and then we can create this. And then they have created this business to where they can sell things cheaper than a black person. Buying black does not mean you have to buy from a ghetto black person that gives you horrible customer service. No, no one's saying customer service is customer service. I'm not buying from you if you're black, white, Asian, or anybody, and you're treating me like I ain't nothing. I'm not saying buying black, just you be smart about it. But buying black creates wealth for black community, which means we can create more for our people. Most black people I know that have a business give back to their community. So you got to keep that in mind too. Giving back to a black person creates wealth in your community and gives back to your community. I know the question one time came up with black people don't have businesses in black communities, but it's like black communities are being gentrified. And the crazy thing about it is that everyone knows this, yet it happens all the time. But the thing about this is that the beauty of black people is no matter where we go, we always build it up and make it something. And this is why they're constantly coming into our neighborhoods, gentrifying us. It's like one minute you're here and you create something and they see, oh, let me go over here because this is rich soil. Looting. They've been looting for years and they're still looting. They see black people make something and it's rich soil, so they come and take it and create something else and make it seem like it's bigger than what it was before. And then we go and we create something and it's like, oh no, over here is where the rich soil is. This time, when we're being gentrified into these other neighborhoods, when we're being pushed further back, when we create this wealth for our communities, which I know we will, let's not give it up this time. Me and my coworkers was talking about this yesterday about how black people play a part in being gentrified. We're so used to not having anything because they've drained our communities. They drained us from being able to have good jobs, that they can just shove money in our faces and we just take it and we run with it. When we create and build this time, don't give it up. If I feel like we should create like a community to where when it comes time for people to gentrify us again, we go to our community and we help bail out our community. And that is the importance of buying black. So you can create wealth for your community so we can help our community. I'm just tired of our community being torn down. It's time to heal. It's time to build. Representation matters. Growing up, I didn't see a lot of black people on TV to look up to. Growing up, I really, honestly, yeah, the first role model I could ever really say I had, honestly, was Michelle Obama. That was the first person I was like, I look up to her. And this is just for me. I don't know about anybody else. I'm seeing more and more people. Like I'm seeing more and more people from Seattle making it. And it's making me proud because like now I could look at my daughter and say, look at this person. She made it out of here. We went to school together and look at her. She is walking with the stars. She is interviewing people. She is editor of a magazine. There's another person who went to the same to Garfield who is now on CNN, and we can tell our kids, look, this person is from here. They can make it. You can. It gives hope. Stuff like that. This is why representation matters for children. This is why representation matters on media because like I said before, media plays a part in how we feel about ourselves and others. So it's time to make a change. It's time to get back to our communities. I don't want to hear from anybody who's not in our communities. I'm not listening to anybody who's not in the community anymore. I'm not going to debate with anybody who's not in the community anymore. I'm not going to argue. All I'm going to say is, are you in the community? Have you given back? Have you volunteered anywhere? Have you created any spaces for children? Have you created spaces for young adults? Have you created spaces for people to recover and build themselves back up and gain self-sufficiencies? Have you given speeches to how you made it out of this community and risen to where you are? It's time to do the work. I've been to 3 protests and I've seen thousands of people, and it has made my heart warm. I have been happy about this, but my fear is this moment will be over and then what? So I hope that we keep this momentum going. I hope that with this protest, people realize the importance of community and how we need to stick together and how we are all a community. White people moving into these neighborhoods with black people, this is your community now. So you need to get out and get to know your community. You can't come in a neighborhood and call the police because people are hanging out in the park and you feel threatened. This was their place before it was yours. So now you need to get out and get to know your community. But the reason why you feel this way is because the media has taught you to feel this way. And I'm not saying everything on media is fake news, because some things are real. But you also have to keep educating yourselves. Not just the media, the school system has taught us, they rewrote history to make it seem like America was built with these wonderful, smart, intelligent, powerful people who wanted the best for America, when America was built off of rape, murder, and slaves. We have to educate ourselves, unlearn what you learned, and learn real history. Learn more about the white people were uplifting, the white statues were praising, the white people on the money were praising. It was said that black communities uplift their criminals more than any other community. And it's like, girl, there's whole statues of rapists and murderers that were white people that people are praising. There's a flag that people are losing their mind over that was fought for, that their side was fighting for slavery to continue. We have a whole president in office that is being praised, and he has slept with children. He has cheated on his wives. He has had multiple marriages. He says very divisive things. The thing that everybody keeps saying is, oh, we don't like him because of fake news, and we don't like him because of the liberals and the far left. No, there's only so much of what this man is saying on camera that you can manipulate. And I always wonder how they can vote for him. But this is how people vote for him. There's this thing going around that says these certain restaurants support him, and people still want to eat at those restaurants because those restaurants are good. And what does those restaurants really have to do with them giving their money to him? But the thing is, the more money we give to them, the more money they have to give to that guy, if that makes sense. But because it benefits you, you're able to overlook all the racist and divisive things he says. So at that point, you're selling your soul for something little compared to humanity. This world is so caught up in being the rich guy, the it guy, the gotta have it, that we're losing touch with humanity. And if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But don't have your mouth on my community because that's what you want to do. Because at the end of the day, the criminals that you think is okay to die in the streets is no different than the criminals that's in the White House. It's no different than the criminals that's on the police force. No different than the criminals that is in corporate America. Crime is only okay when you have money. And if you think about it, a lot of criminals get off when they have money compared to when they don't have money. So if you think about it, slavery is still happening if you don't have money. No matter how much people try to say it ain't, it is. History has taught us. The Bible has taught us. And I say the Bible because I'm a Christian. But if you have a religious faith and a religious belief and thought, and you're going off of your book has taught you. We have been taught, and we're still failing. So at what point are we going to learn our lessons of the past and create a better future for our kids? I don't want to live life as a slave. I'm not going to live life as slave mentality anymore. I'm going to demand my respect. I'm going to pave the way for me and my family. But I won't forget my community. And while I'm trying to create a path for my children, I am going to continue to create a path for my community. A lot of people, a lot of kids working with where I work, I realize not a lot of kids have that fortune to have parents with a clear mind. And I just say clear because literally we all are dealing with something. We're all dealing with something. But some of us are able to snap at it faster. But not all kids have that from a parent that can just drop what they're doing to go be there and support them. So, 30 days. Think of something each day. Even if you can't think of something each day, that one thought that you got, make a plan and in 30 days, execute it. If you can't think of anything, take 30 days to volunteer somewhere. Hand out meals if you can. Volunteer. There's 2 places I can think of right now that may need volunteers. I honestly, hey, that's one thing on my list. I'm going to ask for a list of places where people can volunteer and then I'll post it. It's time to unlearn what we've been taught and relearn what is right. I am blessed beyond measures. I do not have a lot of money. I have been fighting a battle of trying to get somewhere. And one day I realized, where are you trying to get? You have a roof over your head. You have food in your refrigerator, and you are being able to take care of your kids when you didn't think you would be able to. You are doing what you can. It's time to give back. Not to say that I don't have places I can't go further, but you need to be comfortable and okay with where you're at. Because the more you try to reach for something else, the easier it is for you to dismiss what's going on with someone else. It's the easier it is for you to be on somebody's neck. So, let's focus less on getting more and focus on creating wealth for our community. Because if we create wealth for our community, we're also creating wealth for ourselves. I hope that I made sense. And I got to stop saying it because I know I did. But I hope that you guys take this 30-day challenge and get in your communities and give back. And when I say get in your communities and give back, don't go in there with expectations. Go in there with a plan and be willing to readjust your plan. Because if you haven't been in the community, you go in there ready to go, and then you get out there and you realize, oh, this is deeper than I thought. And I need to come up with a different plan. I need to readjust what I thought and what I planned and create a new plan. So go in there with an open mind. You cannot make people think the way you think. You can't make people do the way you do. Everybody's not going to be ready, but there will be some. And if you can just change one life, 2 lives, 3 lives, you have created a chain, a wave of change for all. There's enough in this world for everyone to get something. It's time to get off of everyone's neck. And it's time for us to roll up our sleeves and create and become a community. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'm still new to saying that, and I feel like so stupid saying that because what I'm doing with my vlog, I'm not trying to make you don't have to be famous to make a difference. So I'm not out here trying to be this big person. I'm not out here trying to make money. Now listen, if I make some money, I ain't turning it down. But I'm not out here to make money. This is something that I feel like I've been called to do. And I thank you guys for coming on this journey with me. It's tough. It's hard. I literally have no idea what I'm doing. I'm doing as I go. And I just really want to thank you guys for growing with me and being here in the beginning as I mess up, video record, post, take down, and figure this out. And also, leave room for growth. Leave room for mistakes. This world is so unforgiving. It's time for us to stop doing that. People make mistakes and people learn. So if somebody was racist 2 weeks ago, but is not racist now and is willing and trying to do the work, let them. If someone says some dumb stuff a week ago, but now has changed, let them. People have the right to change, learn, unlearn, and relearn again. We are all humans in this world trying to make it. But it does take togetherness, and there are people who want to keep us divided, and we got to keep that in mind. But we can do this. We can create a change. We can create wealth for our African American communities, and our white communities still have it. There is no reason why people should be dying by the hands of police unless there is some grave danger, like they're shooting at people. But if somebody's drunk in their car, there should not be no reason why that person gets killed for running away. I mean, at this point, just let him go. You know who he is. Let him go and then go meet him at his house. Why? It's like, why? If someone spends a $20 counterfeit money, anytime we all can come across a counterfeit money. Just because we're a person of color doesn't mean we're doing anything criminal. Money, not every cashier checks the $20 bill. No one should be dying over $20. Kids should be able to play with toy guns. Back in the day, we were able to play with toy guns. It doesn't mean you're a criminal. It doesn't mean you're going to be a criminal. What if playing with a toy gun, somebody wanted to be a cop, an FBI agent? Why? We need to figure something out. But as a community. Thank you for watching Bree Living. I was about to go on a whole nother tangent. Let me just get out of here and go. You don't have to be famous to make a difference. Don't feel like because you don't know somebody or they don't know who you are and they don't know your name that you can't get out here and make a change and make your mark in this community. Don't let that stop you. Get out here and do what you can and save a life.